The origin of Chinese civilization is often considered to be represented by the Neolithic cultures of the Yellow River Valley, such as the Yangshan and Longshan cultures. According to traditional records, the first dynasty in Chinese history was the Xia dynasty, which existed from around 2070 BC to 1600 BC. From the Xia dynasty onward, the dynasties in Chinese history can be broadly divided into the following periods, as shown in this chart. Xia, Shang, Zhou dynasties, traditionally regarded as the first three dynasties of Chinese history, lasting until 256 BC. Qin and Han period. After the Qin dynasty unified the six states, it established the first centralized state in Chinese history, followed by the long reign of the Han dynasty. Period of the three kingdoms, Jin, and northern and southern dynasties, a time of alternating division and unification, with many short-lived dynasties emerging. Sui, Tang, and five dynasties and 10 kingdoms period. The Sui dynasty reunified China, followed by the Tang dynasty, a peak period in Chinese history, and then the turbulent 5 dynasties and 10 kingdoms. Song, Yuan, Ming, Qing period. This period includes the Song, Yuan, Ming, and Qing dynasties, lasting until the end of Qing dynasty rule in 1911 with the Xinhai Revolution. Modern history, from the Xinhai Revolution to the modern periods of the Republic of China and the People's Republic of China. The three most chaotic periods in Chinese history were the end of the Han dynasty, the end of the Jin dynasty, and the end of the Tang dynasty. In this short film, we provide an overview of these periods based on the novel Romance of the Three Kingdoms and some historical materials. We aim to tell what happened during these times in 15 minutes. This video is divided into 6 parts following a timeline. Chapter 1. The Yellow Turban Rebellion and the Tyranny of Dongzhuo, 184 to 192 AD and 184 AD. China was nearing the end of the Han dynasty. The emperor at the time, Emperor Ling of Han, was far from ideal. His regime was marked by the sale of official positions to corrupt individuals. This, combined with natural disasters, led to numerous problems within the state. Amidst this turmoil, a man named Zhang Ju stepped forward. He claimed to possess magical abilities that could aid the people. Zhang Ju quickly gathered a following. His supporters donned yellow turbans and were known as the Yellow Turban Army. They rebelled against the emperor, seeking to change their current way of life. It was during this period that 3 key figures of this book emerged: Liu Bei, Guan Yu, and Zhang Fei. They swore brotherhood in a peach garden, vowing to help their country and its people. In their view, the people's suffering was caused by the Yellow Turban Army, not the emperor. These 3 brothers joined the army of the Grand General named Yuan Chao to fight against the Yellow Turban Army. Among them was a highly intelligent military leader named Cao Cao, who gained considerable prestige and accolades in this conflict. However, within the Eastern Han court, there was a malevolent figure named Dongzhuo. In the chaos following the war, Dongzhuo seized power and committed numerous atrocities, including burning the emperor's palace in the city of Luoyang. Dongzhuo was accompanied by a formidable warrior and his foster son, Liu Bu. Liu Bu was renowned as the mightiest warrior of the 3 kingdoms, but he was unpredictable and somewhat erratic. A key figure in this tale is a beautiful woman named Diao Chan, originally the foster daughter of Wang Yun. She was presented to Dongzhuo as a concubine in a plot to eliminate him. Liu Bu, enamored by Diao Chan, betrayed and assassinated Dongzhuo. During these chaotic times, another warlord, Sun Jian, discovered an immensely important relic, the Imperial Jade Seal. Instead of surrendering it, he chose to keep it for himself. In China, there are several types of jade seals, but the most significant is the Imperial Jade Seal, a symbol of the legitimacy of a dynasty's rule. While imperial robes and crowns could vary, there was only one Imperial Jade Seal from the time of Emperor Qin Shi Huang in 221 BC, who founded the Qin dynasty, until the fall of the Qing dynasty in 1912. Over these thousands of years, this singular seal symbolized continuous authority. In times of defeat, it was customary for the vanquished to ceremoniously hand over the jade seal to the victor. If there's interest, I can create another video to discuss in detail the culture of jade in China. There are 2 important points to note in the first part. 1. The relationship between Liu Bu and Dongzhuo. In the historical records of the 3 kingdoms, Liu Bu and Dongzhuo had a master-servant relationship, not a foster-father-son relationship. However, in the novel Romance of the Three Kingdoms, their relationship is portrayed as that of foster father and son. 2. The character of Diao Chan. Diao Chan is a fictional character. There is no historical record of her existence. The character of Diao Chan first appeared in a Yuan Dynasty variety play and was further developed in the Ming Dynasty novel, Romance of the Three Kingdoms. In the second part, we delve into the tumultuous era from 193 to 200 AD, a time characterized by the power struggles among Liu Bu, Cao Cao, and Yuan Shao. Liu Bei's journey during these years was one of constant exile and shifting alliances. In 196 AD, he gained control of Su province. While in Su, he formed an alliance with Liu Bu to oppose Cao Cao. However, in 198 AD, Liu Bu betrayed Liu Bei and seized Su province, forcing Liu Bei to flee to Runan. He later sought refuge with Cao Cao, then Yuan Shao, and after Yuan's defeat at the Battle of Guandu, finally took shelter under Liu Biao. An interesting phenomenon in Asia is the widespread presence of temples dedicated to Guan Yu, a deity revered even by some gangs as a symbol of loyalty and righteousness. In contrast, temples honoring Liu Bei, who eventually became emperor, are far less common. Guan Yu, during this period, is most noted for his legendary 1,000-mile solo ride and the slaying of 6 generals at 5 passes. Despite Cao Cao's attempts to win him over with wealth and high office, Guan Yu's unwavering loyalty to his brother Liu Bei remained. Upon learning of Liu Bei's whereabouts, Guan Yu decided to leave Cao Cao, demonstrating his fidelity and gratitude. He left a letter at Cao's residence, explaining his departure was solely due to his loyalty to his brother, and returned all the gifts and official seals he had received. During his departure, he famously defeated 6 generals who tried to stop him. Cao Cao, in these chapters, solidified and expanded his power. He defeated Liu Bu, took control of Su province, and emerged as the most powerful force in the north after defeating Yuan Shao at the Battle of Guandu. Yuan Shao, Cao Cao's main rival during this time, suffered a decisive defeat at Guandu, marking the decline of his power. The Sun family, Sun Jian, Sun Su, and Sun Quan, played pivotal roles as well. Sun Jian discovered the legendary imperial jade seal among the ruins of Luoyang, secretly taking it with him. This act, however, became known to Liu Biao and Cao Cao, leading to Liu Biao dispatching Huang Zu to retrieve the seal. In the battle against Huang Zu at Jiangxia, Sun Jian, though valiant, tragically died from an arrow wound to the head. Sun Su, Sun Jian's eldest son, took control of the Jiangdong region after his father's death but was later assassinated. Sun Quan succeeded Sun Su, continuing to consolidate and expand the foundation of Jiangdong. Some people believe that the misfortune of the Sun family is due to their private possession of the Jade Seal, a wealth that their fate could not bear. But who knows? Chapter 3: The Battle of Red Cliffs. This is one of the most famous battles in the novel, marking the confrontation between Cao Cao and the alliance of Sun Quan and Liu Bei, which had a significant impact on the landscape of the Three Kingdoms. Part 1. Liu Bei accumulates power in this phase. Although Liu Bei was weak and isolated, his wisdom and charisma attracted a group of loyal ministers and warriors. The most significant gain during this time was obtaining the assistance of Zhuge Liang. Zhuge Liang's joining brought a qualitative leap in Liu Bei's political and military strategies. Liu Bei established a base in Xinye, Jingzhou, and after the death of Liu Biao, he took full control of Jingzhou, began actively planning and developing military strength, laying the foundation for future plans. Part 2. Liu Bei allies with Sun Quan. As Cao Cao's power rapidly expanded, the two major forces in the south, Liu Bei and Sun Quan, faced a common threat. Liu Bei communicated closely with Sun Quan through envoys, and the two sides formed an alliance. Sun Quan, also threatened by the dominance of Cao Cao, sent generals like Zhou Yu to join forces with Liu Bei's army to resist Cao Cao. This alliance, based on a common enemy and mutual interests, marked the beginning of cooperation between the southern forces. Part 3. The Battle of Red Cliffs. The Battle of Red Cliffs is a climax in the Romance of the Three Kingdoms. Cao Cao led a massive northern army southward, intending to eliminate the southern forces in one fell swoop. Faced with Cao Cao's powerful land forces, the allied army of Liu Bei and Sun Quan adopted flexible strategies. The wisdom of Zhou Yu, Zhuge Liang, and others played a key role in this battle. Ultimately, in a great fire at Red Cliffs, Cao Cao's fleet was burned, and the northern army suffered a major defeat. This battle not only thwarted Cao Cao's ambition to unify the country, but also laid the foundation for the tripartite balance of power in the Three Kingdoms. Chapter 4. Liu Bei enters Sichuan and establishes Shu Han, 211 to 223 AD. After the Battle of Red Cliffs, Liu Bei consolidated his position through a political marriage with Sun Quan's sister. He betrayed and seized Yi province from Liu Zhang. Facing conflicts with Sun Quan and threats from Cao Cao, Liu Bei relinquished half of Jingzhou. After successfully conquering Hanzhong, Liu Bei declared himself king of Hanzhong and established his base in Chengdu. Before this, in March 220 AD, Cao Cao died in Luoyang, marking an important historical moment before Liu Bei's establishment of his base. Later, enraged by Sun Quan's forces killing Guan Yu, Liu Bei proclaimed himself emperor and launched a revenge campaign but ended up in a stalemate and ultimate failure under Lu Xun's siege. After the defeat, Liu Bei retreated to Beidasheng, where he spent the last year of his life, appointing Zhuge Liang and Li Yin as advisors for internal and military affairs to assist his son Lu Shan. It is noteworthy that after Cao Cao's death in March 220 AD, his son Xiaobi succeeded him. In November of the same year, Xiaobi forced Emperor Qin of Han to abdicate, establishing the state of Wei and declaring himself emperor. In response to Xiaobi's claim to legitimacy, Liu Bei also declared himself emperor, establishing Shu Han. This was before his defeat by Lu Xun at Yiling. Sun Quan declared himself emperor after these two, establishing the state of Wu in 222 AD, becoming the last emperor among the three kingdoms. Chapter 5: The Fall of Shu Han. The decline of Shu Han began with the death of Chancellor Zhuge Liang. Zhuge Liang passed away at Wuzhong Plains during his last northern expedition, significantly weakening Shu Han's military strength and political stability. His death left a leadership vacuum in Shu Han, and subsequent northern expeditions against Cao Wei further depleted the nation's strength. Lu Shan, the last emperor of Shu Han, was ineffective in governing the country. Political corruption and court infighting led to further decline in internal cohesion. Eventually, in 263 AD, Wei generals Deng and Zhang exploited this weakness and rapidly breached Shu Han's defenses. The swift advance of the Wei army and internal divisions within Shu Han made resistance extremely fragile. In Chengdu, Lu Shan, persuaded by his ministers, chose to surrender to avoid greater destruction of the city and further harm to its inhabitants. The lives of Shu Han's officials and people underwent significant changes, and Lu Shan himself was relocated to Luoyang, becoming an ordinary citizen after the establishment of the Jin dynasty, marking the official end of Shu Han and the Three Kingdoms era. During this period, Sima Yi's family had already gained de facto control within Cao Wei. After Sima Yi's death, his sons Sima Shi and Sima Zhao inherited his power. Sima Zhao eventually consolidated his control within Wei, and under his leadership, Wei conquered Shu Han. Chapter 6: The Fall of Eastern Wu in 280 AD. In the final chapter of a saga that spanned decades, the story of the Three Kingdoms draws to a close with the fall of Eastern Wu in 280 AD. A pivotal moment that heralded the end of one of the most turbulent and fascinating periods in Chinese history. The stage was set by Sima Yin, heir to the legacy of Sima Yi, who, after seizing the reins of power from Cao Wei, embarked on a journey to etch his name in the annals of history. In a strategic masterstroke in 265 AD, he compelled Wei Emperor Cao Wan to abdicate, thus bringing an end to Wei's rule and ushering in the era of the Jin dynasty. This seismic shift in power, often referred to as the Sima family's replacement of Wei, set the Jin dynasty on a path of unification. As narrated in the epic Romance of the Three Kingdoms, the demise of Eastern Wu, under the rule of Sun Quan's descendant Sun Hao, marked the final act of this legendary epic. Sun Hao's reign, marred by brutality and corruption, precipitated the downfall of Eastern Wu. The internal chaos and fear that gripped the state weakened it from within, making it ripe for conquest. In a meticulously planned campaign, the formidable forces of the Jin dynasty, under Sima Yan's command, launched an offensive in 280 AD. Their military might and strategic acumen were unmatched, swiftly overwhelming Eastern Wu's defenses. Jin generals, including the likes of Du Yu and Wang Jun, distinguished themselves with their exceptional military prowess. In contrast, Eastern Wu's generals, crippled by internal discord and Sun Hao's inept rule, were unable to mount a significant resistance. Confronted with the inexorable advance of the Jin army, Sun Hao was compelled to surrender. In a symbolic act of capitulation, he sent his imperial jade seal to Sima Yan, effectively bringing an end to the Eastern Wu regime. Sima Yan's acceptance of the surrender and the subsequent relocation of Sun Hao to Luoyang marked the final integration of Eastern Wu into the Jin dynasty's domain. This momentous event signaled the end of the Three Kingdoms era, a time that has captivated historians and enthusiasts alike. As the Jin dynasty heralded a new era of unification, the legacy of the Three Kingdoms continued to echo through the ages, a testament to a period that shaped the course of Chinese history forever. In our next video, I will guide you through an exploration of the significance and origins of jade culture in China's 5,000-year history. See you in our next video.